Hey there, and thank you so much for tuning in to Momentum Is. If you are here, then you have probably caught wind of my recent post, or somebody has shared it with you about my 8 week campaign, in which I will be sharing nuggets of, I guess, my perspective, both personally and professionally, um, in hopes that you can catch a glimpse of who I am as a person, and for those young adults out there, the kind of mentor I could be for you. And so, I wanted to make sure that I kicked off this campaign with really just showcasing who I am, and giving a little bit of insight about Chanelle. Because again, I play different roles professionally and personally. And I guess in a way, I'm trying to find a way to blend and marry the two. And so, um, yeah, professionally, I am a senior real estate advisor, as well as a licensed broker here in Atlanta, Georgia. Um, I come with almost 15 years of experience. Do not try to count my age, don't do that. But almost 15 years of experience, real estate experience, and have covered, um, I would say, over 3,000 transactions throughout my career and growing. And so, um, I do share, especially with a lot of the students that I have come across or have mentored, that I got into real estate by being a broke college student and needing a way to pay my bills, as well as I definitely wanted the discount on rent. And so that was my in step, if you will, into real estate. And I have been growing and developing and maturing within the industry ever since. And so, personally, though, I am a believer and a woman of God. I am a wife and a mommy of two. And really, I say two, but I'm like a mom of many, because it doesn't look green, but plants are my thing. So, I am no botanist or what do they call it, a horticulturist or whatever that word is. I am not, a plant expert, but I see how when I put my hands on things, how they grow. Okay, I kind of like that. When I put my hands on things, things grow. So yeah. But for those who know me personally, I come off as goofy, or I think I'm goofy and funny. I like to have fun. I love to laugh, and I've been told over and over again that I have a very big heart. I just don't like to show it. And so, um, again, this campaign, I really hope will showcase and marry the two. Um, and just as much as I'm hoping that whatever I'm putting out there can be insightful, can be influential, could be inspiring, I am also kind of looking for that growth factor for myself, by doing this. And so, segueing into what today is about, today's momentum is doing despite fear. Um, and man, it's not so much the fear of getting on camera and speaking to the world, if you will, but more so just knowing who I am as a person and how I am very good and truly love keeping that line of separation, if you will, between personal and professional. Um, and so I wanted to theme today's discussion based off of doing despite fear, because I think we as people have a way of kind of engulfing ourselves with the what is, or I'm sorry, what ifs, versus focusing on what is. So let me reiterate that because I kind of twisted that a little bit. So we have a way of engulfing ourselves in the what ifs, if, versus the what is. And funny enough, had this conversation with one of my mentees the other day, as they were embarking on graduation, or after graduation, if you will. Congratulations again. Um, and during our conversation, it was a lot of, but what about this? And what about that? And what if this doesn't work? And what if? And I blatantly said, I think you're worried about the wrong things, truly. Um, and as we, had the conversation or delved into it a little bit more, and because I've been mentoring them for almost 2 years now, I kind of had an impression that there was something else along the cusp of these what ifs. And so I allowed them to, what if themselves, and then finally said, what is it actually that's bothering you? Like what is truly driving your fear? And I will tell you, I knew it from the beginning, but I just needed to come out of their mouth. And they said, well, I see this person's doing this over here. I see that person is doing this over there. And I was like, okay. It's the thief of comparison. Um, and guilty as charged because I have done it. I do it. Um, where sometimes you take a step back and you're trying to give yourself a holistic overview of like what's going on, but then you start including what is happening or who is happening around you. And y'all, I all I can say is that comparison is such a thief. Um it's such a thief, and it's a sneaky one at that, because you get so engulfed in, like I said, you get so engulfed in the what ifs and the who and when they're doing things, and you don't even understand why they're doing it. Um and so yeah, when they finally, shared with me what was really going on, we kind of went into a full blown discussion, including a little bit of scripture, which I'm going to go ahead and put that in now. So I'm a true believer that you having a source and having some grounding, um, is pivotal to who we are as individuals, and where we gain our source from or our information is also pivotal. And so I'm going to share with you a scripture that I shared with my mentee. And let me tell you something right now. Okay. Let me just go ahead and put the disclaimer out there. I am no Bible scholar. Okay. My walk is just as wobbly as many of you out there, if you're on a walk or not. And so, but to kind of again showcase who I am and what I'm doing and where I'm pulling from and being transparent about it, this is where I'm pulling from. So I got my Bible right here. And the scripture that I shared with them was out of Matthew chapter 6, verse 34. And it says, so do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring worries of its own. Today's trouble is enough for today. Um, Shared that with my mentee because, truth be told, if you are not focused or understanding where you are now, today, what you're doing now, today, what you're trying to accomplish now, on today, it's almost, you can almost ask yourself the question of, how do I have the audacity to worry about tomorrow? If you haven't finished or completed whatever it is, the task, the I don't know, the check off, the assignment, whatever it is, if you have not completed that on today, truly, how can you worry about what's going on tomorrow? And so, again, guilty. Okay. You're not alone in this. I'm guilty as well. But that kind of bringing it full circle, the fear, you know, the comparison, the worrying, the what ifs. I mean, what is that truly doing for us? Um, Nothing. How is it, how can you move across the finish line or move across the marker or, even hit a target if you haven't even set yourself properly on today. Um, my friends and mentees will tell you, or I'm sure they've probably heard it before, where, I'll say, you are so focused on this, and not just you, let me include myself. We are so focused on what's going on out there that we are not even set on our own foundation that we're supposed to be standing on. And if we take it to a real estate component, how can you build if your foundation is not set? I mean, are you building on sand? Well, we're in Georgia. Are you building on clay? Uh, in Tennessee, you building on rock, the lime rock? Like, what are you building on? And how do you have this expectation that whatever it is that you're building on is going to be steady and firm for the future? Um, if your foundation is not set. So, saying all of that to say, you know, with my mentee, we had a really good conversation, and you know, my hope is always that it's not so much for me to tell you what to do, but to give you some sort of guidance and resource of where to go and where to look. Um, and that's really how I left it with them, where I was like, stop worrying about who has whatever going on. Because a lot of times, especially on these platforms and social media, and I know people have heard this before, so it's probably going to sound cliche, but people put on for social media all the time. And they're going to showcase more of the good versus the bad and the indifferent. And so while you are looking and seeing what it is that they have going on, and it looks like the glitter, the glitz, the glam, the gold, you don't know what it is that they're really enduring on the back end. And that's what I told my mentee. You don't know what that person had to do in order to achieve X. You don't know what that person did or is doing, to have Y. You just don't know. And so, therefore, focus on you and what you have going on. And so, to bring it back to me and why I'm doing this, and as I said, momentum is doing despite fear. This is me doing despite the fear. The fear of blurring the lines, if you will, of what I look like professionally versus what I look like personally. Um, just because the world is chaotic and mean enough, and I'm negotiating all day, every day. I even negotiate with my toddlers. Okay. Like, let's just, for my parents out there, you know what I mean. But, um, doing this despite fear of the unknown, I literally, I'm just over it. I'm tossing it over my shoulder, and I'm looking at what it is and how it is I'm setting my foundation, and having the faith to know that my foundation will be set, will be strong, and that whatever it is I'm encountering and building towards in the future will be great. And that's it. So, um, I'm really not sure how I'm gonna like end these. Maybe I'll. Oh, you know what? I know exactly how I'll end it. I don't know where my notebook is, but there was a. I'm gonna quote because it was in the Bible app. I believe his name is Levi Lusco, and I hope I pronounced it properly. But he said in there that um, our trials and tribulations are not to bash us, but to build us. And so today, momentum on momentum is doing despite the fear. Know that yes, it might be scary. Um, yes, you don't always know what the outcome will be, but this what you're doing, or how you're trying to set yourself up even when you have those moments of getting pushed down, knocked down, the no's, um, the woes, the anxiety, all of that stuff, that's not to bash you, but to build you. And it's to build your foundation so that you can build for your future. So, thank you again for tuning in on today or this week's Momentum Is. I really look forward to next week's Momentum Is. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you, your feedback, um, the good, the bad, the indifferent. And again, if it's before I do my recording, if you got something for me to talk about, let me know. And if it fits the schedule, I'll make it happen. Thanks so much and take care.